Today is June 10th, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topics are the bitter and sweet of Kaohsiung recall vote and U.S. and China fighter aircraft. First, I want to talk about the bitter and sweet of Kaohsiung recall vote. Kaohsiung Mayor Han Kuo-yu's recall vote on June 6 aroused a series of political effects. And to both the ruling party DPP and the opposition party KMT, this involves bitter and sweet. First, I want to talk about who's bitter and who's sweet. Who will represent KMT for the by-election? Han Kuo-yu announced yesterday that he decided not to file a lawsuit against the result in order to show his respect for Kaohsiung people. Therefore, the by-election will not be extended. And that means whoever's household registration not located in Kaohsiung will not be able to join the election. And that means the current KMT chairman, Jiang Qi-chen, or former candidates of presidential election, Zhu Lilun, can't sign up. And this is the bitter for KMT. And second, who will represent DPP for the by-election? People think that it will be the Vice Premier Chen Qimai. He competed with Han Kuo-yu in the 2018 Kaohsiung Mayor election, and he failed. But life is so dramatic, you know. Han, who won the election, was recalled, and Chen, who lost the election, earned his second chance. And people think that it is around 90% for him to win the election. So this is Chen Qimai's sweet. Third, it is the second round of cabinet reorganization, and also because we're talking about because Vice Premier Chen Qimai is running for Kaohsiung Mayor, who will be selected for his protection. You know, maybe CCC head Chen Shizhong will be the one. First, I want to talk about KMT think that Han Kuo-yu was recalled because of his pro-China label. And, you know, the pro-China label, and they want to rip off that label. But the problem is, you know, the 92 consensus tango KMT and China's version of 92 consensus equal to one country, one interpretation. And that one country is China. Furthermore, even KMT chairman Jiang Qi-chen, Johnny Chang's response to the results of the recall vote in Kaohsiung City, he has two versions. You know, in the English version, there is a phrase opposed to communism, but it disappeared in the Chinese version. So what is KMT afraid of? Is it the bitter of KMT? And second issue I want to talk about, United States and China's fighter aircraft in Taiwan. You know, Taiwan sky was very busy yesterday. A United States naval transport plane, C-40A, took off from Okinawa and went across to the western territory of Taiwan. And this is a very rare routine. And hours later, the Ministry of Defense announced that Chinese Su-30 fighter jet entered briefly to the southwestern part of Taiwan. You know, we can see the tension between U.S. and China is kind of severe. And, you know, especially today, I want to say that the American Chamber of Commerce of Taipei published this 2020 Taiwan white paper. And what is in the content, I want to share with you. I think that's the point of view of the United States toward Taiwan for Taiwan's political situation and economy situation. You said that first, even in Taiwan, however, the coronavirus has taken a heavy toll in the economy. The COVID-19 crisis presents Taiwan with a new opportunity to get back in the game. And also, he said something about the second item we want to point out, that Taiwan has shown its kind of staying power despite maneuvers, political setbacks, and exclusions from most international organizations. Taiwan's economy has continued over the decades to be one of the top performances in the region. And most recently, you know, many knowledgeable commenters kind of expected that kind of heavy involvement of Taiwanese companies in China will cause Taiwan to be major casualty of the U.S.-China trade tension. Well, actually, it's not true because, the economy shows signs of benefiting, from the return of many Taiwanese invested manufacturing operations in China. And also, in this report paper, it said that Taiwan needs to be willing to take bold steps to carve out more secure position than it previously enjoyed, as Washington pursue its kind of strategy to build up its pressure in the kind of India-Pacific region and seeking to protect the interests of America. And also they wanted to have a friend or kind of an ally. And about that, it said that the U.S. government is likely to become increasingly aware of its need for trusted allies in the region and the extent to which Taiwan is highly suitable for the kind of role. And also, in the end, it had a suggestion for Taiwan. It said that another thought is for Taiwan to use a proportion of the large foreign exchange reserves. Well, currently, we know that the worth over $480 billion to create a sovereign wealth fund to invest in worthwhile opportunities internationally. So I think this is a new suggestion for Taiwan. I think Taiwan will do that in the future. I think, what we can see from the white paper from the United States Commerce in Taiwan, I think there is a turning point now for U.S., Taiwan, and China. Here are the top stories for today. Today, we have 0 confirmed cases. Kaohsiung Mayor Han Kuo-yu accepts about the whole thing, the recall decision, and will not file a lawsuit against the recall elections results. And he said he plans to take time off to reflect after being relieved of the mayoral state. Media speculations about the next move is baseless. But KMT struggles after devastating loss in Kaohsiung KMT. We're talking about the KMT Secretary General Li Qianlong. He said the party is looking for someone from Kaohsiung around 40 years old to run for the mayoral by-election. And currently, they have some few possible candidates, but have to make a decision about it. It's not defined yet. And also, we want to say that U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo kind of criticizes HSBC for cooperate, kind of talking about corporate kowtow. What is a corporate kowtow? We know that kowtow is something from Chinese language. It means like kneeling and bowing so low as you can have your head on the floor. It's talking about the corporate kowtow, and talking about this is that U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Tuesday took to task HSBC for backing Beijing's controversial security law proposed in Hong Kong, warning of business over-reliance on China. And he also said last week, the bank's Asia-Pacific CEO, Peter Wong, a member of the Chinese People Political Consultative Conference, signed a petition supporting Beijing's disaster decision to destroy Hong Kong's autonomy and to break commitments made in an UN-registered treaty. And also, he seemed to be very angry, and that show of fealty seemed to have earned HSBC little respect in Beijing, which continues to use the bank's business in China as kind of political leverage against London. And also, Pompeo said, Beijing's aggressive behavior shows why countries should avoid economic over-reliance on China and should kind of guard their critical infrastructure from CCP influence. And also, I want to talk about China's pressure strengthened Czech Republic because, Czech Republic senators decided to visit Taiwan. We said the president of the Czech Senate, Milo, said that I will lead a delegation to Taiwan at the end of August. China's repeated pressure and the Czech revolutionary tradition of striving for freedom and democracy has strengthened my determination to visit Taiwan. And then said that, except for this, we want to talk about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also tweeted yesterday. We applaud the brave decision of President of the Czech Senate, Milo, to Taiwan. Late President Javier's pedigree on the fighting for the liberty and dignity of the Czech Republic is well inherited and touches our heart. We're ready to welcome you. And this is by Joseph Wu. You can talk about that. You can see that the Senate President talking about this, visiting Taiwan, and he also received a gift. It's a Taiwanese flag cake. You can see that, wow, this is look like a delicious cake. And over here, what it wrote, it said that you can see on the cake, it wrote the famous quote of former president of the Czech Republic, Havel. It's a liberty, it's as precious as life. I agree. What about you? That will be The View for today. I'm Catherine Chang. I hope you have a nice night. I'll see you tomorrow.